So, in whatever which is happening in the nation of Zimbabwe, there is one thing which is so dangerous which is happening. That is the attack of President Advocate Nelson Chamisa. He is not being attacked by some people who are doing something progressive or meaningful. He is being attacked by comrades who are hiding somewhere, who are doing nothing progressive except tweeting. This is the biggest problem which we have. President Nelson Chamisa has braved ZANU-PF manipulation and machinations and has remained in Zimbabwe, trying by all means possible to survive in a politically volatile environment. You know, the biggest challenge right now is that there are people who are fighting for the survival of ZANU-PF, and there are people who are fighting for the total end of ZANU-PF. These are two different people or two different groups. President Nelson Chamisa is fighting for the total destruction of ZANU-PF, the uprootment of the system of ZANU-PF. Yet there are comrades who are in exile who are doing all they can to fight for the existence and such that they can save ZANU-PF. Those are the biggest points of disagreement. These are comrades who are saying ZANU-PF won in 2023, it must continue, it's Mnangagwa who must go. And, you know, they have launched attacks on President Nelson Chamisa because they believe that since he's on the ground, since he's in Zimbabwe, he might, at a certain point in time, somehow benefit and take over the leadership of Zimbabwe whilst they are still in exile. And they don't want to be invited by him. They want to invite him into the government. So when I was sitting down listening to some of the comrades talking, speaking over the phone, I then realized that we have the biggest problem in Zimbabwe than we ever thought. So the removal of Emmerson Mnangagwa, if we are not careful, is going to then start another thing, which will be just something like the continuation of ZANU-PF. That is the reason why as citizens we are getting into the streets to demand the total removal of ZANU-PF, to demand the destroyal of ZANU-PF 100%. And I hope and believe these comrades who are working against Nelson Chamisa will understand this one day. One of the things of note are that they've started pointing fingers on Nelson Chamisa. They started with the thing Akabadar. It failed. Now they've started another thing, a fake voice call, which is likely going to be broadcasted and which is likely going to be shared widely in the next few days, simply with an aim to make sure that they discredit President Nelson Chamisa and they make him an enemy of the people. Once they've done that, then they will justify to say, okay, if Chamisa was working with Mnangagwa, so why can't we then continue and bring Isisu change, Yamam Chida, this and that, blah, blah, blah. One of the key issues is that they were told point blank by someone. I'm not going to mention where that person comes from or whatever, or the affiliation of the person, but they were told point blank, it doesn't make sense to remove ZANU-PF and replace it with ZANU-PF. It makes sense for Chamisa to lead you. Let this system collapse. Taneta. We now need progress. They were told point blank. And some of them were not so happy, including some of the seniors of that person who said so. They are not so happy. And they started to convene some meetings where they are actually trying to find somebody who is going to bring something which is well doctored. I'm not so sure. When I last heard about these issues, they wanted to find out if they can find somebody who can doctor this thing such that it won't be doubted by the people. So Nelson Chamisa has managed to challenge ZANU-PF's power. You know, since the death of Morgan Tsvangirai, none of the opposition political players managed to challenge ZANU-PF like what President Nelson Chamisa did, to a point where even people like Wanarugare Gombo admitted that Nelson Chamisa is powerful and strong. He has challenged ZANU-PF to different strengths I know that a lot of people would say this and that. We will need to compare the era of Morgan Tsvangirai and the era of Nelson Chamisa. These two leaders have survived in different terrains, different political arenas. And President Nelson Chamisa is actually stood firm. If you look on to the 2018 election, President Nelson Chamisa participated so well. He was new into the game, and he did well, despite working with some people who were undermining him, some people who were compromised. Then we move on to President Nelson Chamisa's popularity. This is a young man who is popular amongst the youth. He resonates with the youth. The message he speaks resonates with the youth. And where does Comrade Geza get in? Comrade Geza he has challenged ZANU-PF head on, being part and parcel of ZANU-PF. Is challenging ZANU-PF. And Comrade Geza said something which is very, very important. Let us unite. Let us bring everybody on board so that we work together. That is the message of Comrade Geza. And it seems as if everybody embraced that message except team iriku South Africa, team iriku exile. They've refused to take heed of that message. And since their leaders are failing to rein them in, then we are left with no option. In the next few days, we are going to launch a full-scale attack, and probably we will expose some of their dirty games if I get permission to do so. So that is something which is very, very important, and we do not want to continue with the ZANU-PF. This system must collapse altogether and totally. And that is one of the things which other comrades are willing to do, but just a few people are trying by all means possible to play the blame game. So President Nelson Chamisa is well known for rejecting the ZANU-PF ideology and ZANU-PF what so-called legacy. He has led a fierce fight against that false ideology of corruption, of looting, of mismanagement, of squander. And we have seen also Vice President Chiwenga joining the same recently, which means the message of President Chamisa, it has been well received by everybody, including those in the military, in the police, in the CIO. They've acknowledged the message of President Nelson Chamisa. And also, when you look at it, Nelson Chamisa has had so many political rivals and personal attacks. These are people who have failed to outmaneuver ZANU-PF politically, and they now resonate to attacks on President Nelson Chamisa. So President Nelson Chamisa, the perception is that is a threat to ZANU-PF. What it means is ZANU-PF sees him as a threat, and ZANU-PF extension also sees him as a threat, because it's now a fight of power. Because it is win party edu vamwachiti no, let Chamisa take over, ndiye akawina chaizo. Muchati kudii kana maresults echokwadi akazobuda. Munozoti kudii maresults echokwadi akazobuda achiratidza kuti despite whatever which happened ndiye akawina. But tinokuzivaika muchamhanya muti ano isitakanga tisipo this and that. Ngatichenjerei hama dzangu.